I managed to get my message across through someone who was sitting there who happened to speak English, and so they interpreted. And I was able to get the question out to her. How is it that you sell more flowers than all the other girls? She says, I said, I won't tell. I'm leaving. We're leaving today, Plainsville, I won't tell. She says, well, I look at the gentleman's hand, and if he's wearing a wedding ring, I say, would you like to buy a flower for your girlfriend? If he's not wearing a wedding ring, I say, would you like to buy a flower for your wife? Because I find everybody who's single wishes they were married, and everybody who's married wishes they were single. I thought, I've never forgotten that. There's a 10-year-old girl selling roses in Brazil. What a lesson I just learned. She'd done her market research. Now, I went back, and my wife said, what did she say? I said, I don't know, I didn't understand a word. So, you gotta be careful how much information. I was wearing my ring. I tried to put my hand in my pocket, as soon as I got the conversation going there. So, that's the question. Know your customer. Know your customer, know the customer you're trying to reach out to, that you're trying to do business with, because I want to emphasize that CRA for your corporation, you don't have one, you're going to be struggling. You're not entertaining, you're going to struggle some more. But even with those two, each customer is separate. What do they want? Control and empowerment. How do you give it to them? It's different for this person and that person. And you, in order to maximize your ability to bring in the business, have got to maximize your ability to analyze that marketplace, being that individual and this individual. Let me ask you, how many customers for most of us are we looking for at any given time? One. He wins a book. Passing the book back there. This, by the way, is the Ultimate Sales Professional. I did the book of the letters from my mother, and I thought, well, it's nice, but it borders on being a little B-O-R-I-N-G because it's a list of rules. So I wrote a novel about her and all her sales ideas, and that's what the Ultimate Sales Professional is all about. You win. Now, the gentleman is right. We can only take one customer at a time. If we're advertising and we're Coca-Cola, that's different. But for those of us in dealing with customers, bringing in business and managing people who do, it's one customer at a time. So we have to know each one of those customers. Now, the fourth CRA is what I call third-party edification. Now, that is very important. Jay said some very nice things about me, and I'm grateful to him for doing it. But if I had stood up and said those things, your impression right off the bat was, geez, who is this jerk? I can't wait to have to listen to this jerk. And if you walk in and say, boy, let me tell you, my name is Bob DeLoach, and you can't believe what I have done in my lifetime. And even the part that he could tell you about would be B-O-R-I-N-G, because that's about him, it's not about them. They don't care. But if Jay stands up and says, let me tell you what Bob DeLoach can do for your business, and he goes on and on and on, first thing you know, people really, they can't wait, this guy Bob DeLoach, who is he? When's he coming? We got to meet him. He's special. Why? Well, Jay Almeida said he was, so he must be. Now, two people in my lifetime have been contradictory of what I just said. Joe Namath and Muhammad Ali. They transcended what I just said, especially Muhammad Ali. They had the courage of their convictions, the courage and the confidence that they could do what they could do, and as a result they became heroes, and it became okay for them to do it. But I would suggest to you it's not okay for you to do it. You need to find somebody, and I mentioned Mike Delport and I worked together for a number of years. He's here today. He's a broker at Oppenheimer. For those of you, we sue brokers for a living. He's one of the really good brokers. We don't sue. but he would say great things about me. I would say great things about him. But we never said great things about ourselves because we were partners in our endeavors. We found that to be much more successful now. Second part of that, though, is to have a guide. Have somebody who helps you with that kind of information. Tells you what to do, how to do it. It's very important to have good guides, effective guides, honest guides. I'm reminded, as many of you know, the Spaniards many years ago had conquistadors. They came over and conquered the Incas and the Mayans and destroyed those wonderful civilizations. And the purpose of their coming to the New World was to seek treasures. Seek treasures. So when this particular conquistador, who had been commissioned by the Queen in Spain, excuse me, became frustrated because he just couldn't find the treasure he was seeking, he hired a guide. And he said to this Indian guide, I really want you to help, direct me, point me in the right direction. And off they went, village after village after village, nothing. Finally, they identified this is the village where the treasure is buried. So they get there, conquistador asks around, he finds out only the priest knows where the treasure is buried. So he says to his guide, bring him to me. In comes the priest, hands shackled. He says to the guide, tell him to tell us where the treasure is buried, or we're going to tie him to the stake in the town square and give him 50 lashes. Oof, frightening thought. Guide says to the priest, tell us where the treasure is buried, or you go to the stake, 50 lashes. The priest replies, says, you tell the conquistador I'd rather die than tell him where the treasure is buried. Whoa! Repeats that, the conquistador takes great offense, throws down his sword, says, tell him 100 lashes if he doesn't tell him. So he repeats, says, you tell him I'd rather die and tell him where the treasure is buried. Well, at that point, his patience is exhausted. The conquistador turns to his guide. He says, tell him this is it. Last chance. Tell us where the treasure is buried, or we're throwing him into the burning pit in the temple where he's thrown all those virgins for all these years. He says, and he's going right in there with him unless he tells. Well, the guide says, okay. So he turns to the priest. He says, look, this is it. I'm telling you, last chance. Conquistador says, if you don't tell him where the treasure is buried, he's going to throw you in the burning pit. Well, the lashes he could have dealt with, the burning pit he couldn't. So he says to the guide, all right, look, you go down to the temple, out the back door, 12 paces. There's a tree there. You go 8 paces there. There's a little pool of water. You drill into the pool of water, and that's where the treasure is buried. Thank you. So the guide turns back to the conquistador and says, he'd rather die. Point of that story, obviously, is you better have a good guy. You better have somebody you can trust. You better have somebody whose opinions you can rely on. I can think of several political leaders, be they in Congress or the White House level, you probably are getting some bad advice from the wrong guides. So that's an example. Now, let's look at the next key to bringing in the business. Lead with benefits, follow with features. And I just want to make one quick comment about that, and that is that you always need to convey what it is the customer gets, not what you get. People don't care about the features of your company. You ever see that? We were founded in 1967 and we have 411 employees. I could care less. What does it do for me? 420, I could care less. We pick you up. I get that. Lead with benefits, follow with features. Now, the third key, never make a cold call. Now, I'm going to try something here that is going to be interesting. I'm going to get a volunteer because a lot of things that we're going to learn about bringing into business deal with difficulty, overcoming obstacles. And when it comes to the next one, never make a cold call. Boy, the first thing I get from the sales manager is, oh my God, who do we bring in here? He's telling my people not to make a cold call. Well, obstacles, we're going to give you an alternative. Now, I want to show you how difficult and challenging, but I want you to bear with me here, because when you take a risk, you sometimes have interesting consequences. But how about the lady back there who's writing? Would you volunteer? Okay.
Yes.
Come on up if you would. All right. Let's have a round of applause for our volunteers. Nice shoes. And your name?
Michelle.
Michelle. You're not nervous, are you?
No.
Michelle? Okay. Well, see this rope, Michelle? Are you nervous yet?
He's getting you.
That's good, I think. Now, I find when I do this that we generally have three groups of people. Bear with me, I'll be right back. Okay. People who like to get tied up. Whenever I ask for a show of hands, I usually don't get any. People who like to tie people up. Ask for a show of hands, I usually don't get any there. But I ask for everybody who likes to be tied up, sit on one side. Everybody who likes to tie somebody up, sit on the other. And then that remaining group, keep a real close eye on both those groups. Okay? Now, you like to be tied up? No. Good. That'll make it better. What we're going to do is, here, maybe undo that sleeve and roll that up if you don't mind. So we would need a little rope on skin here. Okay? Maybe just one more. Nice shirt. Want to mess that up, see? Okay? Now, imagine we're in a banker's office, we're doing this. This would be the one not for the kids. All right, so here we go. Okay so far? Okay, let's put your hands behind your back, if you don't mind. Yeah, that's all right. And turn around this way. I want everybody to see what's going on here.
Do you want the sleeve too?
Okay, yeah, you better roll that sleeve up too. See, obstacles. Points been made already. We've got obstacles to overcome here. Now, I have to tell you what we're trying to do here. Ready? Okay. Here we go.
You're gonna tie the hair.
Now, has only been done in a couple
Yeah, you're dead.
instances.
You should see her face. I'm glad we got her own tape.
Well, it's going to get more interesting for her, I can assure you. And hopefully for you. And hopefully, maybe more importantly, is that we've only just begun. Because see, now this rope generally is used only for tying cattle down just before you brand them. But we're not going to do that. But okay, you ready? No. Right. Well, all right. Here we go. Go around your neck like that. So far, so good. Once around here, because these are obstacles. There's a lot of learning here. Okay. Now, okay.
I wonder what people in Australia is thinking right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Calm down,
She's
people.
nervous.
It's getting worse.
Then he lights the fire.
There you go.
Oh,
Treasure.
All the way around to here. I mean, these aren't just any obstacles here we're dealing with. This is some pretty tough stuff. Okay. Now. Oh boy. Comfortable yet?
Very.
Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is step right into this hook.
yeah.
Step right in here. Face the audience. Now, Okay, comfortable? All
Very.
right, now we need a volunteer.
Martha's a good volunteer.
Martin,
Yeah.
come on up, Martin. All right. Martin, I want you to step into here. Face, no, you don't get to face Michelle. Martin, I mean,
Hey, Marty!
Martin,
Martin.
thinking it's been a long time since he's seen a woman